So, hello, Catherine. Would you
Hello.
like to introduce yourself and tell us how you've got to be where you are now?
Okay, so my name is Catherine Lenahan. I formerly was a teacher, followed by a childminder. So I had a number of years doing that, then went on to become a national strategies advisor, then in early years, and basically an education advisor, currently a researcher and also an author. So I wear a lot of hats. Yeah, that's me.
You're right. And would you like to tell us a bit more about this author role?
Certainly. So, as part of my national strategies role way back in the day, I specialised in phonics and phonological awareness. I always had some ideas about what I wanted to do in my own practice, and as I kind of came back into the classroom for a while, I firmed those up and I started writing, gosh, climate education comics and stories would be 18 years ago.
Oh.
So I've been at it quite a while. I did it in classrooms for my own children and as a volunteer for various different schemes. I think it must be about 10 years ago that I was published. So I released a number of decodable fiction stories for a couple of different publishers. But I've always had a love of comics as a material that is really engaging to all ages and stages.
Yeah. And I know, like when we've talked before, we've talked really about that early years and how you can get all that phase one, all those environmental sounds that are just
Exactly.
perfect for early years children. Because if they haven't got that, differentiating sounds, they're not going to get the phonics further up school.
No. And it seems to be missing somewhere along the line at the moment. And I think there's a place very, as you say, very much for that to help them focus, tune into, think about, talk about sounds, be aware of rhythm, rhyme, alliteration. There's so much rich opportunity in early years to
Mm.
develop that I think this is such a lovely stage.
Yeah, I totally agree. People know I do apps. I'm very passionate about early years. So your new range of comic stories are the Green Street Gang.
That's right.
So who are
So
they?
well, the Green Street Gang are both a group of individuals, neighbours in a local community. They live next door to one another, and it's also the series name. So it's a series of comic stories. I call them, as you know, Corys, because it's part comic. The illustrations, the sequence, the way it's presented is that of a comic. The story I put in rather than the traditional layout for a comic, um, to make it easier for practitioners because we all love a story and I think we need to keep that alive as well. So this is a series that is about sustainability and nature appreciation.
Mhm.
It's a series about neighbours and community and inclusion. And it has a focus on phonological awareness primarily. So that's some of it.
Yeah, no, they sound wonderful. I know I had a sneaky peek at them when I talked to you last. And so how do you envisage sort of early years settings using your choruses?
Right. Okay. So the Corys themselves, I'm going to just flash one across the
Oh yeah.
screen. They are an A3 size. So this is the gang here. I know I'm going to send you some bits and pieces you can use later. They can be used in lots of different ways. I guess the first thing is it's a series. They are braided together, so each one follows on from the next. We can use them as standalone stories. They do come with phonological activities based on the story itself in each issue. Um, I would use it to inspire play in the environment. So in each issue, there is one item. Ella, in the first instance, in the first issue, it's her birthday. She's gifted a play den. She goes into that play den, finds something, a special resource. In this instance, the first one, it's a magnifying glass. And she goes on an adventure, a detective story with her friend next door, Finn, helping out Mr. Singh on the other side, who is a bit stuck on, who's nibbling the raspberries. So it gives lots of things to talk about because it's very visual. I've managed to fit in all sorts of elements of development matters. So not just literacy, not just communication and language, but expressive art and design, mathematics. So there's lots of positional language, lots of counting opportunities, and there are things to spot, but it's very focused on nature. Each issue focuses on a particular element of phonological development, and that was kind of where I came from and what I wanted it to do particularly. So there's lots of ways it can be used. I, in my heart, want it to be used and enjoyed as a story. I want it to provide inspiration for practitioners and children. And I would really like, in an ideal world, practitioners and children to take this away from a resource, take it into the environment, set up, I don't know, a small world or an outdoor role play area, provide them with that provocation
Mm.
object and see where the children take it, because there's such a rich tapestry of vocabulary and experience that they can enjoy. But play is very powerful, and I'm sure you know that as an early
Yeah.
years practitioner. So it's harnessing that enthusiasm, that love of learning, of play, of being together, of having really good quality interactions, that I think is something that I treasure about this
Yeah.
particular series.
Yeah, yeah, and as somebody who is teaching in nursery, I love that idea. I mean, we set up provocations, and it can be something so simple as using a magnifying glass, and getting down on the children's level, exploring under a log or a rock, and that all that awe and wonder and connecting with nature develops that whole child, all the oracy, the turn taking, the community, there's everything there. And it's, yeah, they're going to be wonderful, I can tell. So you've got a series. So what are your plans for the future with your chories?
um, I think one of the things I'm really proud about is that it's very much based in the community, that there's this kind of intergenerational learning from one another, that we've got the enthusiasm and the experience. I'm going to pinch a line from my favourite musical and my daughter's favourite musical. So I'm going to say, for me, it's not a moment, it's a movement. And this sustainability consciousness, this awareness of the importance of nature and nurture and understanding is really important. So by the time series 2 comes about, probably I think we'll be looking at, January, February time.
Mhm.
We'll be moving into the wider community. So we'll be coming out of the three back gardens in Green Street of our friendly neighbours, um, and moving into the back lane and thinking, who are these other characters that live there? How are we greening this environment? How are we making the most of it? And, the yes, we have the characters, the main characters, Ella, Finn, Mr. Singh, who lives next door, but we've also got their parents and Ella's younger siblings. So all the way through, the younger children are playing and experiencing it, and it's the things that the younger children would be doing in nursery. So they'll see the type of play, the type of resources.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's going to be entertaining. And I'm going to just put a plug out here. We never see pregnant women
Hmm.
in books unless it's about a baby,
Yeah.
and becoming a sibling. So I'm really pleased that one of the characters is pregnant and has the baby, and we see that development as well.
Yeah.
So it really is all ages, all stages.
That's brilliant. And like as you said about that series, second series and going into the back alley sort of thing, that's one of our big questions of who lives near me, you
That's
know,
exactly it.
and
Yeah,
it's, yeah, you've got your neighbours, but then, what wildlife is there, going out at the moment, and just starting autumn, all the mini beasts are around and the worms and everything. So
that's
that's,
exactly
a
it.
lovely link to one of our big questions. So thank you for that.
You're very
Um,
welcome.
and just finally, what advice would you give teachers, practitioners in the early years?
Twofold, I think, possibly three. Work-life balance, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm,
Make sure that you, where you can, you're accessing really good quality CPD, because that will give you ideas. It will, bolster your confidence. Talk to your colleagues, make it a movement of your own, and that phonological awareness is absolutely key to producing engaged, enthusiastic readers, which is what we're all after. So yeah, phonological awareness is where it's at.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed that, and I'm
Thank you.
looking forward to sharing the choruses with my nursery children because I know they'll love them. Like you say, all that whole early years framework, that curriculum is there because, like you say, you've got your maths, you've got your citizenship, you've got just everything, or knowledge of the world, being expressive. It's yeah, perfect, perfect for early years. Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Cheers.